I do think a lot of times they have me do these messages to help others because I am picking up on energies and they're showing me scenes of things that are not occurring for me. So this is when it's like, okay, well, I know there's always lessons for all of us because we can resonate with one another, but I do recognize some of these literally are not my scenarios, so they're not picking up on, it's not my subconscious, so to speak. That said, this seems to be this running theme, which I can relate to, and I do understand to some degree, of depression. And so it's like somebody's really depressed, and it's like, well, why are you depressed? It's usually you're telling yourself the wrong thing. And of course, it's always more complicated and more layered than simply that, right? This is why we end up confusing ourselves, because it's like we have these fundamental beliefs that are blocking us. And so they're adding in that guilt, that shame, that blame, preventing us from hearing the correct message. And this is why it's also very important that you're honest and true with yourself and you never listen to other people outside of you to make what they're telling you fit your story. You have to ask yourself if it's really true or applicable to you in real time in your scenario. Or no, that lesson does not pertain to you at this time or in this scenario. Nonetheless, this I don't know, it's like this person seems to be depressed, or they're wildly unhappy with where they are, and so then they become lethargic. It does spiral into listen to the last few, where that really is what ends up happening. It's like you become almost frozen. And then you build that momentum that way because you're disconnected, because you're not listening to your higher self. You're not staying in alignment. You're not staying connected and true to you. You're not being loving to you. You're not being honest with you. And so then you cannot be that way with those outside of you. And it's right there. Okay. And so they're showing, and that's usually the hiccup right there. It's because why? Why aren't you able to be honest with you and those outside of you? Because there's a reason. Well, I should because X, Y, and Z. And that's where the blame, the guilt, the shame, or the false beliefs come in. Well, I need to do this because, and because, and because, and because. And so then you can't even see yourself out you can't even see your way out of a paper bag because you get yourself so blinded. Based on all those beliefs. And so those are the times where it probably is good to go to somebody who can hold your hand and help you out of that paper bag. And then when you can see again, you can move along, right? You don't want to lean on them forever, but you want to get clarity. And so I think that might be specifically, they're really wanting me to zone in on this. That might be something that's very specific for somebody where they're stuck somewhere. It's like they keep saying and showing somebody stuck somewhere, but I think they're also implying that they're depressed, so they're frozen. That's what I mean by that. It's like they are stuck in the sense that they're depressed, and because they're in that mindset, they're ruminating in that loop, and they can't get up. They can't get up. It's like as soon as they try to tell themselves something, but they can't even get clarity to tell themselves something, but it's like when they try to reach is what it is. It's like they're reaching for a positive thought. It's almost like they feel shameful. It's like they're just, oh, that's interesting. So sometimes you do need to do that. Sometimes you do need to just fantasize, just to relax, just to loosen up, just to get yourself out of your head, just to get yourself into your heart and your heart's desires, even if it's not attainable. Allow yourself to have that fantasy for some time to loosen up, okay? So maybe that person needs permission simply to do that. But that's what they seem to be doing, but stop themselves. It's like they try to do even that said thing, and they shut themselves right down out of shame or blame or guilt or it's like excuses or justifications, which I believe is a false belief system. They have this false belief of, well, you can't do that. That's wrong. That's taboo. And by the way, what the fuck is taboo anymore? Nothing. In 2026, there's nothing fucking taboo anymore. We long surpassed that years and years and years ago, I feel like. But surely now. So, yet I guess this person still has those deep embedded beliefs that they haven't excavated yet, and so it's keeping them frozen. What is interesting in this scene, and though it's not perfectly clear, it feels like kids are involved. It seems like a family, but it doesn't seem like the others are, I was going to say as concerned or worried or even aware. How do I say what you're showing? What I want to spit out, but I don't know how to say it smoothly, is like, if the person who was depressed could get unfrozen for even a little bit, get out of their fear just a little fucking bit, and speak some honesty, I think they'd actually be surprised. I think they're actually reading the people they're with wrong. In other words, if they spoke what their heart really wanted, it seems like they may be shocked that the people they're with would be like, okay, so all that for fucking nothing, right? It's almost like they're torturing themselves for no reason. And I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't know if they'd be glad. You'd think they would if they were getting their heart's desire or speaking their truth. Or if because it's a weird feeling they're giving me now. I don't know if they're like embarrassed or ashamed or like almost upset that they held themselves captive for so long. But it's more than that. I don't understand. It's more than that. It's like, oh, that's weird. It's like they're disappointed that the people don't care more. I don't know if it's just people or friends or family. They do seem somewhat distant, so I don't know if that's implying that they just don't care or if they're not really family or something. I'm not sure. But they don't care as much as this person thinks they will. And so then it's almost hurtful. And it's weird that the reason it's a little bit weird, it's not that it's hurtful that they've caged themselves in, because it was them, they did it to themselves with what they were telling themselves and how they were keeping themselves in that fear and that frozen state. But they're more upset that it's like they're the only ones that care. But that's not true either. Now they're just telling themselves another lie. But they don't care as much as that person did. Oh, some of us just are very sensitive and dramatic, right? Sorry, this person just seems very sensitive and dramatic, and I can relate. We all can relate, but this is, they're very sensitive and dramatic. And I do think it's, I can't tell. I do think it's, whew. It's such an interesting feeling. I'm not sure if it's, I don't know how to say. It's almost like they wanted them to play into the drama. It's all very interesting to me. It's like you're frozen and depressed and want to move along, but you're lying to yourself, telling yourself all types of things that if they get up the courage to do the right thing, which is love themselves, honor themselves, and speak their heart's truth, all the people around them would be like, okay, and let them go or let them like free themselves into whatever capacity that means. And that seems to also upset them. That also seems to disturb them. So what is it? They're looking for drama. They're addicted to that deep feeling. They are addicted to that deep feeling. So we talked about that. Oh God, I'd have to look it up. I don't know how long ago it was. I have a hard time with time. I don't know if it was a month ago or a couple of months ago, or maybe even last year, about how people get really addicted to the depression because they're really getting addicted to the intense feeling, and then it ends up serving them on multiple levels in multiple ways, even with getting, the attention outside themselves and feeling significant and all types of things. Yet, this person is addicted to, it seems like the intensity, the drama. It's like they'll take any intensity. even though they act like they're avoiding it. Well, they are avoiding it when they get frozen. What is it? It's like even when they're frozen, that's an intense feeling, right? That struggle to move because they're frozen, that struggle to take any type of action. And then they search for the next extreme, right? So then they want what? Then they want the people to fight with them or to not agree with them or something, or they wanted more drama, whatever that means, around that scenario when they told the truth. And so it's like maybe they need to become an actor, right? Like, go play those roles where you can play those intense emotions and feelings and then leave it at work, leave it on the stage, leave it in the studio, and then go back to your normal life. It's like, get that. It does feel like a fix. It does feel like an addiction. That's interesting. I don't know that I've ever looked at it, because we've talked about where I do think, depression can become addiction. I think all these things can become because they're serving so many needs and then you get addicted to them. In other words, I don't know that I've heard it said this way. Is there I guess there's probably a term for it. There has to be, right? Some term for it's addiction to intensity. Is it addiction to drama? The reason I don't think it's, is that what that definition is? Like, it's because they like the intensity, but they like all intensity. Like, even, in other words, when they're depressed and frozen, I guess that still can be dramatic, but when they show that, they really do show them frozen. So there's like no drama around them per se. It's like all in their mind, which, 99% of all this is all in our mind. So that has to be a thing, right? So what is the thing that you're showing me? Like, this person struggles with, it's addiction to intensity. So I keep wanting just to say addicted to drama. I don't know. Maybe you all can hear it or see it or understand it, or there's like some term for it maybe. So how can this person, I guess, like, recognize that's what they're doing, determine how it's serving them, and if it's benefiting them, serving them that way. In other words, some people really like, and they enjoy their life and their addictions. And like, from an outsider, we might look at it as like a warning, like, where we don't want that life, so we'll learn from it. Some people are like, oh no, I am happy with all these swings. I'm happy with all this, whatever. Like, that's how they are intentionally designing their life. So I don't think this person is aware, though, of what they're doing. I think they're unconscious to it. It's just habitual and autopilot. And so I guess they have to wake up to it first. And then you have to figure out how to fill your needs in healthy ways. And even this need, right? So it is an addiction. So it's like, so even that addiction, that need for that intensity, that drama. If it is drama, I feel like it might be more than that, but maybe it is that. And so maybe we can just use that same example. Like, then if that's the case, then maybe they would be really good going and becoming an actor, even if at your local play theater or something, where they can get, it's like that, out of their system, but in a healthy way. I feel like there's more here that I'm not addressing or seeing. Because I was just going to say, why do they need that? But is it just an addiction? Usually is what it's filling 3 or more of your needs. This is Tony Robbins and Chloe Madonis. Look into it if you are more curious. They have 6 human needs, and they talk about that kind of stuff. And I think that's what they say. If any person, place, or thing is serving 3 or more of your needs, it becomes an addiction, I think is what they say. And so I have found that to be I found that to be true too. And if you think about it, you start to think about it and you start to weed through your life. You're like, oh shit, yeah. So what? See, when I go to explain what I'm talking about, I sometimes lose what they're showing me. They were showing me I know, but take me back to where you showed me them. Yeah, but you had them lying in bed, and then I'm not sure. Why do you need to feel that intensity? That's what they're showing. Ask the why. They need to find and uncover the root. The why. Sometimes. I think most of the time. But I think it's also sometimes it's like it's not always bad is what I'm saying. That's why it's like if you can, so you like to feel that way. You just enjoy feeling intense emotions. That's what you've adjusted to. And maybe you need to do the pendulum swing for some time before you get readjusted to the calm, right? It took me a long time. I still work on it, where I too was always extremes because that's what I was used to. So it's like you get used to the chaos. You get addicted to the chaos. And so when the peace comes, the calmness comes, it's so unfamiliar, you run from it, even though it's what you say you wanted forever. And then when you get what you asked for, you don't even accept it. You miss the blessing, so to speak. And so this is why you have to familiarize yourself with what it is you say you want, but you're not familiar with. And then it becomes the new familiar. And it takes time. That takes quite some time to adjust to that. And because it seeps in everywhere. Like even, like I'll go in and out of being fine with doing nothing, where sometimes I can really enjoy it and be present and be okay with it. Other times I will really find myself beating myself up internally and pushing myself and berating myself for not being more proactive, even though I don't need to be doing anything. Nothing is requiring my attention, but it's that false belief and that guilt and that shame for sitting around and not doing stuff, which is just comical when you walk through it and work through it. Like, who came up with all those rules again? Why? And so maybe somebody just needs to do that kind of shadow work, asking themselves the why at the same time as filling those needs in healthier ways so that they can get to that balance more easily. And maybe they're meant to do that. Maybe they are meant to be an actor or whatever it is, for them that they feel can fit those needs in healthy ways. Like maybe... Yeah. Or maybe they'll go through that whole process and all while enjoying that on the side and finally get the pendulum to relax in the center and get very familiar with that center and no longer need the extremes. And it could be, we could argue that many ways. Maybe it's because they do end up going into that and getting that outlet satisfied in a healthy way, that they no longer need that outlet filled in their day-to-day real life. Yeah. I feel like we got there for this person, so let's just leave it there. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.